I'm Revelyn Zimigreenu, Bitlit HE2A. I will discuss the types, characteristics, and identifications of learners with difficulty with self-care. Intellectual disability over the years. Various terms and definitions of intellectual disability have been posed. During the early times, the term idiots, from a Greek word meaning people who did not hold public office, have been used for those with severe cognitive deficits. The 19th century, the term imbeciles, from the Latin word for weak and feeble, was an as label for a less severe degree of intellectual disability. So, according to IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act (IDEA) defines intellectual disability as significantly sub-average general intellectual functioning existing concurrently deficits in adaptive behavior manifested during the developmental period, which adversely affects a child's educational performance. With this definition, three criteria for diagno are specified. So the first one is the significantly sub-average, the intellectual functioning. It refers to a score of two or more standard deviations below the mean on a standardized intelligence test, an IQ score of approximately 70 or lower. The second one is the significant difficulty which we task for daily living, adaptive behavior. The third one is the deficits in intellectual functioning and adaptive behavior must occur during the developmental period, which differentiates intellectual disabilities with other disabilities of cognitive impairment such as traumatic brain injury with Hayward al. 2017. According to AAIDD, it defined of intellectual disability specifies significant limitations in intellectual functioning and adaptive functioning, which should occur before the age of 18 years. There are five assumptions that are essential for understanding and applying this definition. The first one is the limitations and present functioning must be considered within the context of the person's community, environment with regard to age, peers, and cultures. And the second one is the valid assessment considers cultural and linguistic diversity as well as differences in communication, sensorimotor, and behavioral factors. And the third one is the limitations often coexist with strengths within the individual. And the fourth one is the limitations are described for the purpose of profiling and individuals needed support. And the last one, number five, is the life functioning of the person with intellectual disability will improve giver appropriate personalized supports. According to APA, American Psychiatric Association, 2013 defines intellectual disability as deficits general mental abilities, including reasoning, problem solving, planning, abstract thinking judgment, academic learning, and learning from experience. So the prevalence of intellectual disabilities in the Philippines, the statement of individuals with intellectual disabilities enrolled in special education and government schools in the Philippines for the school year 2012-2013 is 12,120. The actual figure is higher as it only includes those who are receiving special education with Garcia 2014. So there is etiology, causes of intellectual disabilities. Intellectual disabilities can have a wide range of etiologies. This could include innate factors, genetic and biological, which an individual has no of control of, and environmental factors, toxin, teratogens, which can often be prevented. Examples of genetic conditions and chromosomal abnormalities resulting to intellectual disabilities are Down syndrome, Prader-Willi syndrome, Williams syndromes, and Fragile X syndromes. Etiologic risk factors for intellectual disabilities: timing, biomedical, social, behavioral, educational. So in timing, there's a prenatal. The biomedical of prenatal is chromosomal disorders, single gene disorders, syndromes, metabolic disorders, cerebral dysgenesis, mental illnesses, parental age, and social poverty, malnutrition, domestic violence, lack of access to prenatal care, lack of access to prenatal care. In behavioral, parental drug use, parental alcohol use, parental smoking, parental immaturity. And educational, parental cognitive disability without support, lack of preparation for parenthood. In perinatal, there's prematurity, birth injury, neonatal disorders, lack of access to birth care, parental rejections of caretaking, lack of medical referral for service as discharge, and postnatal, traumatic brain injury, malnutrition, impaired child caregiver, lack of adequate stimulation, child abuse and neglect, domestic violence, and impaired parenting, delayed diagnosis, inadequate early intervention services. In prenatal conditions associated with intellectual disabilities, their syndrome, definition and cost, remarks, and characteristics. So, the syndrome is Down syndrome. In the definition and cost is incidence increase with the age of mother. Remarks and characteristic physical features, short stature, flat broad face with small eyes and small nose. In fetal alcohol spectrum disorder or FAST, due to mother excessive alcohol use during pregnancy, leading cause of intellectual disability, with higher incidence than Down syndromes and cerebral palsy. Fragile X syndrome. Males are usually affected while females are usually carriers. Most common inherited cause of intellectual disability and most common clinical type of intellectual disability after Down syndrome. The Tonori or PKU genetically inherited condition in which a child born is without an important enzyme needed to break down an amino acid phenylalanine. By analyzing the concentration of phenylalanine in a newborn's blood plasma. Prader-Willi syndrome, caused by deletion of a portion of chromosomes 15, associated with intellectual and learning disabilities. Behavior problems are common such as impulsivity, aggressiveness. Williams syndrome, caused by deletion of material on the seventh chromosome. Characteristic elfin-like features and manners of expressions exudes cheerfulness and happiness described as over-friendly. Range of intellectual disability. Individuals with intellectual disability are classified according to their IQ scores, which could range from 70 plus or minus 5 of measurement error to below. The characteristic of those with intellectual disability whose IQ scores are within the range vary widely. Range of intellectual disabilities. Range of intellectual disability or ID, percentage of ID populations, expectations. So mild IQ range 50 over 55 to 70. The percentage of ID population is 85. The expectations is may appear to be delayed, but price to school entrance may be similar to peers with respect to social skills, motor skills, and communications. So the moderate IQ range 35 over 40 to 50 to 55. Percentage ID populations is 10. The expectation is academic expectations about grade 3 level. So in severe, IQ range 20 over 25 to 35 over 40, 3 to 4. Increased medical motor and neurological problems, basic pre-academic skills, limited sight vocabulary. Profound IQ range below 20 to 25, 1 to 2. Often multiple motor and neurological problems, augmented communication system, picture boards can help communicate basic needs. Severity levels for intellectual disability. Severity level, conceptual domain, social domain, practical domain. So, in conceptual domain, new views, conceptual differences for preschool children. Social domain, more immature in social interactions compared to typically developing age mates. may function age appropriately given personal care. And moderate conceptual skills are markedly behind those two of peers all through development. Marked differences from peers in social and communicative behavior across. Can care for personal needs involving eating, dressing, eliminations, and hygiene as an adult. In severe, attainment of conceptual skills is limited. Spoken language is quite limited in terms of vocabulary and grammar, requires supervision times. And profound, conceptual skills generally involve the physical world rather than symbolic processes. Very limited understanding of symbolic communications in speech or gesture. Dependent on others for all aspects of daily physical care, health, and safety. And that's all. Thank you.